Big welcome to Zwartkops here for round 2 of the Rotax Max South African Championship.
Alrighty then, it is episode 2. Championship. Lights on, lights off for where they go. Perfect start. Sebastian Boyd keeping his first place intact. No argy-bargy, no drama. Brad Liebenberg out on the outside, Boyd securing the inside in a shared. Was that a stablemate battle? The broach chassis there. Brad Liebenberg being there for the time being. By Sebastian Boyd in third place. This is going to be a bit of a mix-up. I see Nick Verheul slow down significantly behind Jamie Smith there. As we see Rob Whiting right behind Brad Liebenberg. Possibly the next challenging one. In a surprise position up behind Jamie Smith, making that right as if you heard me. Rob Whiting on the tail of Brad Liebenberg, maybe landing up a move at turn 1 now. Jamie Smith complaining about something mechanical on his kart as Rob Whiting adjusts the radiator flap on his, trying to cool his kart a bit more, heat it up for a good start, cool it for a well-maintained stint.
Stream.
Sebastian Boyd setup. It's just almost so. Look at the man opening a gap so early.
Later, I'm not sure about that.
He's got his jetting, his carb setting to a T because of how much pace he can gain from the word go. Let's see how much pace he can maintain and then we can confirm that. Possibly, or his own younger brother. Do I see both Smiths? Ooh, going wide, Rob Whiting there. I'm gonna have to check it. Okay, so here it is. Nick Verheul is behind Jamie Smith. Brandon Smith is behind Nick Verheul. Or now Brandon Smith is behind Jamie. As Nick secures third place. Nicely done. Nicely done. Now we've got the Smith gathering. There's Jamie Smith and Brandon Smith, his older brother behind him. And, Rob Whiting in a distant sixth. Nick Verheul, well done to him. Now he's got a Brad Liebenberg to look ahead to. See if he's able to catch him. It took a while for him to get ahead of Jamie Smith, so he held him up in terms of pace. It's going to be a frustrating few laps, 4.5 laps that is. But already, can you see the difference, people? Man was being held up. They're holding me up, and he's checking the gap to see, yep. Of a truth, you were held up. Mr. Nick Verheul, aka Nico Hulkenberg. It's all love, Nick. Jamie Smith right behind him, Brandon Smith falling behind. And it looks like Rob Whiting is failing to get past Brandon Smith. And as I said, it's like, I don't know. Jeez, it's like he's literally trying to sabotage my commentary here. You can't work like this, Rob Whiting, that is. But you're doing your job. You're a racer. This is what you're supposed to do. Getting his own back at Brandon Smith, getting ahead of him. And now Brandon Smith is falling behind and he's got, Jason Kitsea. Is that Jason Kitsea? Yes, it is. What a nice move by Jason Kitsea, trying to gain places there. Ahead of Brandon Smith. So Sebastian Boyd really needs to be careful for the next, what does it look like? 1.5 laps, 2.5 laps. He needs to be very careful. Yeah. And just, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Look at that. They're in the same frame all of a sudden. See, a couple of laps ago, they were not in the same frame, and now Brad Liebenberg. Potentially lining up leadership change, but credit to Sebastian Boyd, he's quick. But Brad Liebenberg is at 42.3 seconds quicker than Sebastian Boyd, about a 10th quicker than Sebastian Boyd. And Brad Liebenberg, of course, is the unofficial championship leader in the absence of Cristiano Morgado, whose neck got injured. Was he going too fast somewhere else, apart from karting? Oh, jeez. But I was going to take a dig at him and say he got a whiplash from doing something he shouldn't have been doing, but he was actually involved in a crash with Michel Duplessis and Vereniging. It's one of those battle scars, battle wounds. So, we understand Mr. Morgado. Recover, Padawan. And as Brad Liebenberg is saying exactly what I was saying, he's doing just exactly as I was saying. Closing up the gap in the final lap, trying to line up a move on Sebastian Boyd, but Boyd has kept his head. Well done, Sebastian Boyd. Oh, brilliantly driven. Nice. We've got a win in Heat 2 of the DD2 class for Sebastian Boyd, getting his own back. Brad Liebenberg, the unofficial championship leader, in second, unable to mount up a challenge, leaving it for too late, I would say, to try and get his own back in the race. And in third place, distant third place, we've got Nick Verheul. And fourth place, Rob Whiting, had quite a dramatic race.
Onto the formation lap. Brad Liebenberg on the front row here. You can see he's going to be pushing hard to try and get another victory in the bag if he can. It's a tough day in the saddle for a lot of these drivers. They've already had action yesterday as the double header here at Zwartkops. They're into the tram lines this time, trying to keep it all together. And we've got lights on. And we're racing by the looks of it. Down towards turn 1. This time looks like they've got the start. Brad Liebenberg's got the whole shot. He dives up the inside and just slots into that lead in the Burrell ART. A bad start there for the rest of this pack coming through. And as they come into this first part of the race day, look out for action aplenty throughout the day here as well. It's non-stop as always. Starting things out here with, of course, DD2s. And the DD2s at this point in time, it's all about the action at the front end. Brad Liebenberg, of course, pushing hard. Sebastian Boyd right there on his tail, and then just behind that, a little bit of work to be done there, but I'm sure we're going to see some maneuvering happening throughout this race. For Jamie Smith coming through too. But at this point in time, it's all about Sebastian Boyd. Sebastian Boyd pushing hard on the back end of Brad Liebenberg and looking for a way to maybe possibly squeeze through and make a plan to get to the front end. Start here for these guys as well. It's basically a hard day in the saddle, and everybody will be pushing to the limit if they can. It's not an easy day in the saddle for anybody. Nicholas Verheul at this point in time sitting in third place, looking for a chance now to run there with the 6.9 cart and the 12 cart. And then just behind that, the 63 machine of Nicholas Spanianos. Spanianos having a good run down to the Doobie, now trying to capitalize on what happened down there and hopefully make up some maneuvering in the first heat of the day here. Just behind him, it's the 7.7 machine. And some work to be done there for Jason Coetzee. Didn't quite get the start he wanted, but you can see Jay pushing the back end of Nico. And Nico's going to be in a bit of trouble in the very, very near future. Top three coming through turn one. Limburg leading things out. Sebastian Boyd, Verheul, Spanianos, and Jason Coetzee. And Rob Whiting just in the background there. Devon Brock and Nico Zafiris a little bit further back. Not quite on the kind of pace he wants, that's for sure. Look at how Verheul is closing now. Verheul applying the pressure onto the back end of Sebastian Boyd. And Boyd now just soaking that pressure up initially. Try and keep out all the action that was happening left, right, and centre. Lots of action, of course, yesterday. Of course, things all going according to plan here. We are going to be headed off, of course, to the third and final round of this championship in a couple of weeks' time, and then, more importantly, looking forward to what's going to be happening in January at the World Finals. Limburg doing it all right so far. Keeps it all together. It's basically line astern at this point in time. No one really pushing it as hard as what they possibly could, but definitely looking to spoil the day here for a couple of these drivers. Verheul took a win yesterday. Jonathan Peters, of course, in second, and of course Myron Salmi was here too. And it looks like there's going to be a couple of changes. That's in the master side of things. I didn't get any paperwork, so I'm just going through my phone here to try and pick up on all the results that came through here. DD2 race 2 yesterday was all about Sebastian Boyd. He beat out Brad Liebenberg and Jamie Smith. Then Jason Coetzee came through for a fourth place. So currently sitting in fifth place is not where Coetzee wants to be. He's going to start moving his way through. Verheul dropped down to fifth place in race 2 yesterday. So he's got some probably some changes to do from a 5 to a 3 at this point. Possibly 3 to a 1 if he can. But not an easy pair to get through when the two lead things out. 42-0 there from the first 3 carts, make it the first 4 carts. Spanianos having a go. Sebastian looking pretty dangerous. Hasn't quite made it stick just yet, but of course he'll be looking for a chance if anything opens up. And if Brad Liebenberg makes any kind of mistake, he's going to pounce and make him pay. Liebenberg at this point in time just controlling things from the front. No one really showing their cards just yet. The 3 of them getting away ever so slightly there from Spanianos, and I think Spanianos actually just might be holding up the rest of that pack. Jason Coetzee has got through. Coetzee can just get his head down. You can see he's already pulled away from Spanianos and from Rob Whiting, but he's playing all on his own. I don't know if Brad Liebenberg realizes how close these two are, but he'll definitely be hearing those exhaust pipes in his ears. And will certainly be looking for an opportunity if one arises. Boyd having a go. Oh, he had a big look there, but I think also what happened there is there's a little tap from Verheul. Boyd looks back. He knows just how close Nick Verheul is there. A little bit of chopping and changing and a little bit of tapping there has lost him about a cart length, so that might be enough for Brad Liebenberg to sort of put his head down and hopefully get away. He's now realized that that little bit of infighting has given him a bit of a gap, and he's trying to get that little bit of extra squirt out of the Pearl ART in front of him. The one underneath him at this point in time, he's looking absolutely brilliant. And remember, this is a man who's won this championship 4 times, so he's definitely knows exactly what to do in a DD2. Particularly at this track, he is exceptionally good at Zwartkops. Having a look at the results from yesterday to see that he was outgunned. Not really what I expected. Down towards turn 1 again, and into turn 1, they pulled a small gap now on Verheul. Verheul dropping into the clutches of Jason Coetzee. And Coetzee can see there may be a little bit of a chance here to close things down. Coetzee 42.5 in the last pass, 43 dead out of Verheul. So he's about half a second quicker there. So definitely a chance there for Verheul to be caught and possibly passed by Jason Coetzee. With lots of issues yesterday, hopefully going to be able to sort things out today and get it a little bit quicker, a little bit more smooth in terms of delivery of the cart and what he can do out on track. Oh, looks like Verheul's gone missing there slightly. He's dropped right out of it. He's possibly into the clutches there of Jason Coetzee. Let's try and get a shot of him. Maybe we'll get the head-on shot now coming towards turn 2 and just see what's happened. Yeah, Verheul's got a problem. Verheul's gone missing. It's now Jason Coetzee up there, and Verheul is dropping back. Spanianos has gone through as well into 4. Nicholas Verheul has pulled into pit lane. I think he's out of it. He might have gone down into pit lane or off on the circuit somewhere, but Nicholas Verhel is out of this one big time. So it's now Jason Kutsia up into the third place. And he's onto the tailpiece, of course, of his ex-teammate there. And Sebastian Boyd and Jason Kutsia, long-time teammates when they were at RKT. And now, of course, running for separate outfits here in the championship for 2020. Oh, Boyd having a go. Boyd has a go. Oh, he nearly goes up the back end of Brad Liebenberg as well. Liebenberg very lucky to avoid that. Sebastian Boyd was very late on the brakes and tried to go on the inside. I think Brad saw him coming, shut the door. He's got one more opportunity to try and get this right. Can he do it now as they come to start the final lap? One to go. And on to the braking point. You can see Boyd closing it down, trying to brake as late as he can, but Brad Liebenberg is matching him on the braking markers. It might be just slightly later on the brakes as well. Gets a little clip of the curb there from Brad. That's not quite the Brad Liebenberg we've normally seen. Now having to go defensive, and he's going defensive big time. Up over the switchback one more time. Flicking over the sort of left to right and down into the final two corners. It's a double left-hander. It's a slight uphill, and then it's a drag to the line, but no one's going to catch Brad Liebenberg now. Boyd tried. Just found wanting by a couple of hundredths of a second across the line there. Bradley Liebenberg takes the first win of today. Starts to cement a couple of good championship points at the front end of this DD2 championship. He's definitely going to be a man in contention for a possible 5th South African championship now. Getting ready and under starters' orders as they come around now to form up and into those tram lines. Brad Liebenberg, jeez. It's a red sea parting to turn number 1 there as they all get through and look like relatively unscathed. A little bit of issues there for Brad Liebenberg as he feels the pressure right from the word go, and diving through there, Sebastian Boyd gets the whole shot, but Boyd being not the biggest protagonist there. The biggest protagonist was Rob Whiting. Rob Whiting putting the pressure all over Brad Liebenberg as they came through there. Jason Kutsia with a much better start. He's up in the 4th place there, right on his tail. Looks like it's Nick Spanianos. A nice one there from Nico as he comes up into the front end of this field for a chance of changing his luck so far. Jamie Smith behind that. He's had a bit of a change up in the way things have gone for Jamie Smith's point of view. Looked really tasty at the beginning of last season, then of course had a couple of ups and downs. Now looking for a chance now to get into that top 5. Front of the field though, Sebastian Boyd disappearing and opening up a bit of a margin over Brad Liebenberg. Liebenberg had to go defensive on those first 2 laps to keep out the attentions of Rob Whiting and Jason Kutsia. So once Liebenberg settles down into a rhythm, he'll probably close that gap down relatively easily. But Sebastian Boyd's first lap was a 43.7 as opposed to the 44.7. It was nearly a second quicker than Brad Liebenberg at the start of this DD2. Not a bad way to start today's racing, that is for sure, for these guys as they come into the double left-hander that brings them onto the back straight and onto the main straight to complete another lap. Remember, this is a 15-lapper. We've completed 3 of them. And look how tight it is there between the 7-4 of Whiting and Liebenberg. Brad's saying to him, come on, let's work together and get to the front. When we get to the front, then we can start fighting. But if we don't work together, we're going to see Sebastian Boyd disappearing. And I think both Liebenberg and Whiting realize that. If there's a chance of working together and bridging that gap, that's what they will do. But once they get up to the front and to the leader, there's going to be no holds barred there between themselves. So good thinking there. They're using, of course, the karting strategy to stay at the front end of this field, and that's exactly what Brad is doing now, bringing Rob Whiting along for the ride, and possibly going to use the 2 karts to work better as one, as opposed to the man leading things out there, Sebastian Boyd. Sebastian Boyd, though, is a tough man to beat if he is at the front end of the field. We've seen it on numerous occasions in the past, particularly here at Zwartkops. I recall a couple of seasons ago in the Africa Cup, he was definitely one of the big contenders. And he showed some big promise here at the Zwartkops International Raceway. And of course at the International Kart Circuit that we're at today, here in Gauteng, just west of Pretoria. South African Championship is on a knife edge here. Brad Liebenberg, remember, looking for his 5th title in DD2s. 2nd place will be good enough to keep him at the front end of the championship, but he doesn't want to be in 2nd. He certainly does not want to be in 2nd, and certainly wants to try and wrap up. And remember, with the Cristiano Magado not being here this weekend, he's definitely got a chance of closing the gap down between Magado, who was so dominant down at the DB Kart circuit. He overtook Magado's championship lead yesterday, so now he wants to try and extend it. But Morgado being out of this one for this weekend's racing. Jason Kutsia still in the 4 spot ahead of Nick Spanios. And look out for Jamie Smith there, Devon Brock and Nico Zafras at the back end. Up through the twisties now. Big pressure being applied. Rob Whiting once by. Whiting definitely looking for a chance now to squeeze through on that Burrell ART of Brad Liebenberg. Rob Whiting in the Intrepid, of course, also getting a disqualification yesterday due to being found underweight after one of the heats. So he's definitely looking to change his luck up. He had a couple more extra burgers here from the Zwartkops canteen before he got into the cart to ensure that he won't be underweight for this heat. There's a big move on the inside there from Whiting. Yo, very tight from Whiting. Oh, we got a problem in the back there. It looks like Nico Zafras and Jamie Smith have come together. Nico Zafras and Jamie Smith coming together. Or is it Spanianos? I think it's Spanianos. Yeah, it's Spanianos and Jamie Smith who've crashed out together out of turn 1. So a bit of action down into turn 1 as our leaders make their way there now. Very lucky to clear that action. He got the leaders there. Jamie Smith's got a problem. His 2 Burrell ART machines coming alongside him and going past the stricken Burrell man on the left-hand side of our shot there. You can see the yellow flag waving because Jamie Smith is parked on the sideline. So it looks like a little bit of damage there between himself. I think it was Nico Spaniano, so it could have possibly been Zafras, though. I'm not 100% sure which of the 2 of the Ricardio carts he got involved with there. I would say it's Nico Spanianos because he's, of course, dropped off the timing list there. So it looks like Spanianos and Jamie Smith coming together. 1 Ricardio and 1 Burrell ART out of this heat. Also good for Sebastian Boyd, just maintaining a decent enough margin, but it's because Brad Liebenberg is asking Rob Whiting to help him out. And Whiting dives into turn 2 and Brad saying, what are you doing? We're not there yet. We need to get a little bit closer. Rob Whiting says, no, I'm not holding back anymore. I've had enough. Let's go and get this man. So there's 1 corner and 2 laps to go. Boyd out front, but it is definitely a lot closer between Boyd and Rob Whiting. 41.8 coming out of Whiting this time, so he's the quickest man out there. 42s out of both Boyd and out of Brad Liebenberg. Liebenberg, as I said, sitting in 3rd place. He'll also be thinking about and working out in his head as a calculated driver as he is. And a 3rd place here will not be a bad result. He'd like to be taking more victories, particularly if we're going to Cape Town, where both him and Cristiano Morgado, if he's all okay from that injury, will be good to go for a great epic battle to sort out the 2020 championship. Both very quick down there, but so is Boyd, so is Whiting. We'll definitely bring Jason Kutsia in as a home track man. Final lap has started. We go down through the tunnel. Look at how Whiting is closed in. Sebastian Boyd is in trouble on this final lap. Watch for a move here from Rob Whiting. He dives on the inside. Didn't quite get there. Boyd shut the door, but he's still going to have another go. He's got 2 more opportunities. One will be on the switchback, one will be into the last corner. He's not close enough for the switchback, but if he carries good momentum here, he'll have a go into the last corner. But I think Boyd's got just enough margin. It's enough margin there. It's a cart length. There's no way you're going to outbreak Sebastian Boyd into that last corner to go through on him. So Sebastian Boyd comes through for the 2nd victory of the day, the 4th victory of the weekend. What a good weekend there so far for Sebastian Boyd. Sharing the spoils so far with Brad Liebenberg. Another victory going the way of Sebastian Boyd. He finishes up ahead there of Rob Whiting and Brad Liebenberg down in 3rd place. It's Jason Kutsia who comes through for the 4th spot and beating out Devon Brock and Nico Zafras, with Nico Spanianos and Jamie Smith both out earlier on in the heat. Don't see, oh there he is, I was about to say I don't see Brad Liebenberg, but there he comes around the outside to take up his position into the last corner. Talking about keeping it right to the last minute, but he'll be alongside Rob Whiting as they head down towards turn 1 on the start. And as they drop the hammer, it is Rob Whiting who's got the advantage on the inside line, but around the outside goes Brad Liebenberg. Didn't work out for it there. Sebastian Boyd tries to go with him. Rob Whiting looks over both shoulders, watches for a dive on the inside there from Liebenberg, who tucks in behind him and goes into turn 2. Just behind that, of course, it's Rob Whiting. And Rob Whiting just not able to squeeze through there. He's the man who leads things out at the moment. Boydie into the 3 spot, and a much better start there from Jamie Smith up into 4. Jason Kutsia, I think, is the man just behind him. And first of the Ricardios there will be Nico Spanios coming through there with a super start. This time, hopefully not going to get into any fracas with Carter's on track. He's just tucked in behind. In fact, it's the 6'3" there car. 6'3" car of Nico Spanios coming through there just ahead of Nico Zaparis. Two Ricardio boys being the meat and the sandwich with one more car to play with, of course, and that being the Devon Bruck machine. Through turn 3 under the tunnel. Back down to the bottom of the hill they go, and it's still Rob Whiting out front. Whiting hangs on to the lead for now. Jamie Smith under pressure from Jason Kutsia. Looks like there's a lot more pressure being applied there onto Jamie Smith from Jason Kutsia as he looks to close down on Sebastian Boyd just up the road from him. Intrepid leading out the 3 barrels. Cosmic right behind that. Pretty close between these 5 carters. 15 lapper, remember, here for heat number 5. It's race 5 of 6 this weekend. 2 yesterday, 2 this morning, and now into the last 2 of the weekend. Whiting maintaining 0.1 of a second over Brad Liebenberg. 0.2 down to Sebastian Boyd. Top 6 all in, in fact top 5 all in the 42s. Spanianis still got to make a plan to get into those 42s. He does it on that pass. Starcher from Jamie Smith. Closing on the back end of Boyd. Liebenberg looking for a 5th championship in this class. And he's leading the championship, remember, after taking some wins yesterday and a win this morning. He got a 3rd place in race number 4 with Cristiano Morgado not being here. Oh, Whiting, and there's a problem on Brad's kart. Brad slowing up coming out of turn 3. It's Whiting, Boyd, Smith and Kutsia, and yeah, Brad has gone. Brad Liebenberg's got a bit of an issue. Brad Liebenberg with a bit of an issue coming out. That definitely is not the way you want to be doing it. Something went wrong there. Try to dive up the inside. I think he might have got back on track, but let's wait and see if he's in contention still. He's coming over the top. Has Liebenberg retired and pulled out? Very good possibility that he has. I don't see him crossing the line. Liebenberg dropping by the wayside. I think he's gone into pit lane. It's Nico Spanianis there in the back, and Brad Liebenberg. Has he dropped down to 7th? He's down to 6th place. He's behind the Ricardio. So Brad Liebenberg down to 6th place there after that mistake and a problem with his car. Maybe got into a neutral there as he came out. Didn't quite get the gear he wanted. Possibly missed the gear he wanted coming out of turn 2 into turn 3. Smith could be in a bit of trouble here. Over the switchback they go. First 2 getting away now. 42 deads coming out of the 2 of them. 42 deads out of Jamie Smith and Kutsia. So all 4 carts evenly matched in terms of lap times. Just the distance between them is changing. 3rd place changes up again. Kutsia tries to maintain that one this time. Can he keep it all together down into turn 2? Goes defensive and gets a tap. Jamie Smith gives him a little tap into turn 2. Jamie Smith. And I think there was a little bit of a brake check coming on there from Jason Kutsia as well. He just maybe dabbed the brake a little bit harder, and Smith went into the back of him. Be careful he doesn't make a nose cone in. Nose cone infringements will be costly right now. Over the switchback and up towards the final corner. It's Kutsia now into 3rd place, Smith into 4th. Falling into the clutches of Nicholas Spanianis. Smith had a look, but wasn't close enough. Kutsia gets good drive out of turn 2, and he actually pulls a little bit of a margin now after Jamie Smith had to try and take a different line to make that move stick. 13 to 15. Whiting, of course, finishing up 3rd overall down Andy Doobie. Oh, and Boydie with a mistake from Whiting, the first chink in the armour, and Boyd pounces. He's applied the pressure, he waited for that, and now he's just disappearing. Sure, good move there from Sebastian Boyd to get through on Rob Whiting. Whiting now looks like he's going to have to settle for second. I did see Brad Liebenberg still out on track. Just caught a glimpse of him in the foreground of one of our shots there, so he hasn't come in completely yet. Just circulating to try and get as many points as as many points as he can get is what we need. Nick Spanianos there in 5. But Jamie Smith not able to do anything about Jason Kutsia just yet. Liebenberg across the line. There he is at the back in 8th place. But Sebastian Boyd should be heading towards the line now. Checkered flag is out. Sebastian Boyd takes it. Rob Whiting in 2nd place. Good drive there from Rob Whiting. But Boydie taking the win. So it's Sebastian Boyd from Rob Whiting, Jason Kutsia and Jamie Smith. Nicholas Spanianos comes through there for 5 ahead of Devon Brock and Nico Zaparis. Brad Lieberg down in 8th place. A bit of a concern there for the Burrell ART team. Need to see what happens in the last heat of the day. Lights out and we go racing towards turn 1. And is it going to be Rob Whiting or Sebastian Boyd? A dive out there from Brad Liebenberg for 3rd. He's going to try and get up the inside of Sebastian Boyd and does so to follow Rob Whiting through. Sebastian Boyd forced wide ever so slightly. Gets onto the dirty stuff. Jamie Smith goes through on him. And then it's the Ricardio there of Spanianos coming through just ahead of Jason Kutsia. Whiting from Liebenberg. Liebenberg from Smith and then Boyd. Kutsia trying to get back ahead of Spanianos in the Ricardio. It looks like a bit of a change up in the proceedings there between Spanianos and Jason Kutsia. Kutsia just trying to hang on for potential and looking for a chance, of course, of getting up into that top 5. He's had a great weekend so far as Jason Kutsia. If he turned his luck around after yesterday, finished up 3rd in the previous heat in race 5. So 2 more positions and he'll be back in the same place he was. Heading down in towards turn 4, the go 3-0 under the tunnel. Rob Whiting, ooh, Whiting late on the brakes, locking up slightly, getting out of shape. Liebenberg will see that. He'll definitely apply a bit more pressure, force the mistake out of Rob Whiting if he can. But so is Brad Liebenberg, so is Jamie Smith, and so is Sebastian Boyd. First 4 are so close. 43-4 out of Whiting, 43-2 out of Liebenberg, 43 dead out of Jamie Smith, 42-9 out of Sebastian Boyd as Brad Liebenberg takes the lead. Liebenberg diving through there into turn 2. Boyd, fastest man on track, he's in 4th. Closing down onto the back of this pack and bringing Spanianos and Jason Kutsia along for the ride. We're going to have 6 carts fighting for a potential win here in the 6th and final heat of round 2. Literally 6 carts in the battle for the front of this pack. Liebenberg the man to catch at the moment, but Rob Whiting and Sebastian Boyd are definitely hounding him and looking for a mistake from the 4-time champion. Top of the hill again. Boyd the danger man. Sebastian Boyd looking for a way through. Can he find it? No, not yet. Rob Whiting keeps him honest for now. Now we head down across the line one more time. Liebenberg from Whiting, Boyd from Smith, Kutsia and Spanianos. That's so close. Any one of those 6 can take a victory. As the lead group heads down to turn 4. Liebenberg just soaking the pressure up there, being applied by Rob Whiting. Boyd's dropped back slightly. It's about a cart length he's lost there. Makes it up under braking. Now sets his sights on the 7-4 in second. He's having a look left, right and centre, trying to find a way at every occasion, but every time he has a go, Brad matches him. Brad coming into the last round. Oh, speaking of last round, there's a last-ditch effort move from Whiting to dive through into first. Boyd is right there as well. So Rob Whiting opens up a little margin as he gets through on Brad. Caught Brad napping there slightly. Liebenberg into second and into the clutches of Sebastian Boyd. Whiting now trying to get away. Brad's not going to give this one up though. He's going to fight straight back and try and catch the man out front. So Liebenberg down to second place now. Rob Whiting leads out as they cross the line with 2 to go. 2 laps to go now for these guys. Rob Whiting, has he done enough? Has he been able to get a little bit of a margin that they will not be able to catch? It certainly looks that way. Could see it from Smith and Spanionis for 4, 5 and 6. Liebenberg making a mistake. That is a huge mistake there from Brad Liebenberg. He now falls into the clutches of Jason Kutsia. Kutsia could even get through on him. Oh, that is not what Brad wanted to do at that point in the race. Liebenberg in big trouble now. Whiting and Boyd are going to close the gap down on him big time. 1 to go, and Jason Kutsia is applying the pressure onto Brad Liebenberg. This is the battle now for 3, 4, 5 and 6. Jamie Smith can even smell a bit of blood in the water, and it's got the same taste as his barrel that he's in. Oh, it's unbelievable how things can change up in karting. You just think everything is fine, no problems at all. And then a man who's taken 4 championships in this category goes and makes an uncharacteristic mistake like that. Right, so checkered flag going to be coming out here. It's going to be Rob Whiting to take the final blood of the weekend. He comes through for a victory with Sebastian Boyd on his tail. That's going to probably change things up a little bit in the championship. Boyd took the last victory in race 5, and it was Whiting in second with Brad Liebenberg all the way down in 8th. And it's now Rob Whiting taking the victory with Sebastian Boyd in second and Liebenberg in 3rd. So that's how it stands after the racing. It's Whiting from Boyd, Liebenberg and Kutsia. Jamie Smith in 5, Spanionis in 6, and Nico Zafris in 7, with Devon Bruck there in 8th place.